What's up, everyone? Focus Daily. As usual, we begin each show by giving all praise due where it is due. To God, the Creator, the Sovereign Lord, the Most High. It is through Him that I am being sent with this truth as a chance for redemption for all, including myself, especially myself. Lord knows we all need it. Reclassified Nationwide. Here we go. Reclassification began in the late 1800s through the use of tricky legislation. A nationwide disenfranchisement officially began by using wordsmiths and vocabulary experts. This crafty council of Confederates crafted legalese with the express intention of destroying the Commonwealth of the children of God, of destroying their legacy and implanting themselves as the sovereign rulers of this land, albeit that this land belongs strictly to the Lord. So, today we're speaking about classification, or reclassification as it may be, which happens to be a form of eugenics, which happens to be a form of Third Reich Nazi propaganda, Third Reich Nazi ideology. So with that being said, let's get to this reading. Yo, here we go. When I get up on this camera, I often wonder, and how am I going to express these ideals and this truth that God wants me to present to the people? And as much planning as I do and looking for information to bag up the information that God presented to me, when this camera come on, it just all goes however He wants it to go. So here we go. Virginia Sterilization Act. Just like that. The Virginia Sterilization Act of 1924 was a U.S. state law in Virginia for the sterilization and institutionalized persons afflicted with hereditary forms of insanity that are recurrent, there go that word again, idiocy, imbecility, feeble-mindedness, and epilepsy. So, dang, that's how they feel about us? Those were some heck of adjectives that they used to describe a black man, woman, and child. But in order to really see the information that they're purveying, you have to turn on that discernment. So, because we were not as crafty as they were, and we were not as demonic and devilish as they were, they considered us imbeciles, feeble-minded idiots. Let's carry on. It greatly influenced the development of eugenics in the 20th century. The act was based on model legislation written by Harry H. Laughlin. That crafty legalese from a wordsmith. Keep up, y'all. And challenged by a case that led to the United States Supreme Court decision of Buck versus Bell. The Supreme Court upheld the law as constitutional. It became a model law for sterilization laws in other states. So what we're actually speaking about right here is genocide, the Holocaust of the children of God, in order to take their birthright and consume their resources and land. This is the main message that God wants the people to be aware of. It was a complete genocide. It was a total Holocaust. The real Holocaust, 6 million plus people were killed and continue to be slaughtered through various systems, once again, such as Planned Parenthood, abortions, sterilization, euthanization, the prison systems. The list goes on and on and on. But fortunately, time's up. Destruction is upon us. So, with that being said, I'm presenting this truth as a chance for redemption for all, as a chance for people to come home, snap out of the spell, snap out of that state that they've enacted and enforced within our ideologies. Let's go. Supreme Court upheld the law as constitutional, and it became a model law for sterilization in other states. Justice Holmes wrote that a patient may be sterilized on complying with the very careful provisions by which the Act protects the patient from possible abuse. Between 1924 and 1979, recent times, Virginia, sterilized over 7,000 individuals under the Act. The Act was never declared unconstitutional. However, in 2001, that's this century, the Virginia General Assembly passed a joint resolution apologizing for the misuse of a respectable scientific veneer to cover activities of those who held blatantly racist views. In 2015, the Assembly agreed to compensate individuals sterilized under the Act. But, if I'm reading this correctly, nowhere does it say that the Act was reversed. So the Act is still in full effect. It is still considered constitutional. Supreme Court ruled it as the law of the land. It's a genocide, people. But let's look a little bit into this Harry guy. Okay. Harry Hamilton Laughlin was an American educator, eugenicist. He served as the superintendent of the Eugenics Record Office from its inception in 1910 to its closing in 1939, right within that Walter Plecker era of time, and was among the most active individuals in influencing American eugenics Nazi Third Reich policy, especially compulsory sterilization. If you've been paying attention, it's guys like this who influenced Adolf Hitler. The Third Reich didn't begin in Germany. It began right here in America. It didn't begin with those Slavics. It began right here with the real Jews, the real Judah, the real Israelites. We were the real Holocaust. Well, the clock on the wall says that's all. That's it for today, people. I'm trying to make it short, simple, and to the point. so that everybody can clearly see what occurred and take advantage of this opportunity that God has given us all to come back home to his grace. Until next time, Focus Daily.